guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be filming a question and answer video. This will probably be my second video, which I feel like is a good second video, like just getting to know me a little bit better. I don't know, I figured that this would be helpful so that you guys could connect with me on a better level, and I am just going to jump right into it. Also, I apologize if there are construction noises in the background. My whole street is being demolished right now and repaved, so. Okay, the first question is, what is your middle name? My middle name is Nicole. That is why my channel name is Casey Nicole. Figured that would be easier than a last name because that should hopefully be changing in the future. What is your favorite color? My favorite color is green. I just feel like green symbolizes like life, rebirth, growth. The next question is, who was your first best friend? My first best friend was definitely my cousin Tia, which shout out to her, it's her birthday today on August 10th when I'm filming it, but she was definitely my first best friend. We are 8 days apart, and we just grew up really close. Our moms were best friends, they still are best friends, and so I was always at her house. We just had so much fun together growing up at such a close age. We were like inseparable. Like if our parents tried to pull us apart, we would hold hands and like hold each other and just cry until they gave in and said like, okay, we'll go out to eat or whatever it was. So she was definitely my first best friend. The construction guys are like fighting right near my window, so hopefully you don't hear that. But the next question is, how tall are you? I am 5'5", almost 5'6". I'm literally like a quarter of an inch away from 5'6", which my sisters are probably watching this and laughing at me because they think I'm just trying to be taller, but honestly I'm fine with my height. Cats or dogs? Definitely dogs. I love dogs. I'm hoping to get one within like the next year, maybe 2 years. I definitely want a boy. I want a golden retriever. I already have it like all set. We have a name picked out, like it's serious. So funniest moment throughout high school. I was so quiet that I feel like I didn't really have funny moments. I would say one of the funnier moments I had was definitely in honors chemistry. We had like lab tables that were put together, like a group of 6 of us, and there was one boy that I had a crush on and he was in front of me, but we all kind of like would turn in and talk in the grouping. And so the one time he was kind of turned around and I had like never spoken to him before, but I started doing the Mad TV skit, "Can I Have Your Number?" which I don't know how I got the guts to do that, or I don't know how I worked up the nerves to do that, but I kind of just was like joking around and reciting it to him, and he thought it was hilarious and we became friends that way. So, I mean, I don't know if that was funny. At the time it was, because no one had seen that Mad TV skit. It wasn't popular like it got afterward, but it was, I thought it was funny. He thought it was funny. How many countries have you visited? I have only been to one country, and that was last year. I went to Mexico with the family I was nannying for. I was the nanny at that time, and so they had business to do there, so I went there and took care of the kids, and it was gorgeous. I think it's different when you're going for work than for enjoyment. Nonetheless, I had a lot of fun, so I have a lot of plans for future travel though, so hopefully that will change. Are you in or have you gone to college? I am not currently in college. I did go to college for 2 years. That was like 4 years ago, which is insane. I can't believe that much time has passed, but I went for nutrition actually. I read a Jillian Michaels book when I was trying to figure out my own health, and she talked a lot about the endocrine system and your hormones and how foods affect those things, especially foods with pesticides, herbicides, or any type of processed food and what goes into it and how it affects our hormones. So from that, I really wanted to get into nutrition and help other people, as like that information was really changing my life. Like in speech class and communications in college, I did all of my speeches on eating organic, which it's funny to look back on, but I was really passionate about it. I still am, I would say. I kind of need to get back to that place though, but I have nothing against going back to school. I totally would if I saw that my passion would require that, but so far that's not something that I am looking into currently. So next question is, what was your favorite and worst subject in high school? My favorite subject was definitely math, especially throughout high school, I really got into it. And I think more the second half, my junior and senior year, at it first period at 6:45 a.m. and I loved it. I loved starting off my day with math, which sounds so ridiculous, but I loved that class. In high school, when so many different things are changing, math is kind of one of those things that remains the same. I think in a time where it's so unsettled, like it was very comforting to like have this kind of puzzle and find the answer and solve the problem. So that was definitely why math was my favorite. My least favorite subject was definitely science, which is weird because I took honors science all throughout high school, up until physics actually. After honors chemistry, I knew that it just wasn't for me. Chemistry was definitely the worst out of all of my sciences, which is funny because nutrition actually requires chemistry, and I actually did really well in chemistry in college. But high school, I just didn't pay attention, and I was failing honors chemistry in high school. So my chemistry teacher actually was super nice to me, and it was probably because she pitied me, but she was really concerned about my grades all throughout that year. The last final, she pulled me aside and was like, Casey, you really need to get at least a 30, I think it was like a 32% on this test to pass this class. So I ended up actually passing, not passing, but passing her standard for that final. I think I got a 34% and I passed with the D, which that was the first and only D I ever had. Like I never even had C's, so that was a little humbling, but it was definitely my worst subject. What is your favorite drink? Well, aside from water, it would definitely be this. I do plan on kind of cycling out of them. I know that people hate them and that they're unhealthy and everything else, but these are the 0-calorie ones and they're just so tasty. And I love coffee, but I love how crisp and refreshing these are. I feel like this is an ad, but they're just so good. Okay, what is your favorite animal? So my favorite animal is definitely orangutans right now. I never even really paid any attention to them until I started nannying, and the orangutan at the local zoo had a baby. And so I would go with the little girl that I nannied for, and we would always go to the monkey exhibit and see the little baby orangutan, and they were just so cute. The way that orangutans interact with one another, the mom and the baby, it's just the most precious thing. The baby orangutan really clings onto its mom, like literally hangs from the mom for like the first 3 years and doesn't really become independent, not until after that time. And so I just love that. I think I really love animals that are human-like and that have that like nurturing capacity. I love that. But elephants were definitely one of my favorites because they're so gentle, and I think they're like one of the only species that cries, and they're just like emotional animals, and I love that. I think it's just because, again, I relate to that. What is your favorite perfume? I might have some behind me. Out of these ones, I would definitely say it is this Chloe perfume. I'm not sure which version of the Chloe perfume it is, if it's like the classic. I know there are a few different ones, but this one is amazing. Next question, what would you or have you named your children? I don't have children, so what I would name my children, I'm pretty secretive about that. I feel like I don't want people stealing my names, which I know it's inevitable that people are going to have the same names for their children as me, but Conrad only likes like so few names that I'm very unwilling to share those. It sounds ridiculous, I know, but I have always liked more non-traditional, unique names, I guess, and Conrad's the exact opposite. He likes very traditional names. I always liked Hathaway for a girl. I love Geneva for a girl. I like Ezra. I like biblical names like Elihu. Just like all these different names that he totally was not on board with. And he loves like traditional German names or like Norse names, and I don't know, just more like those type of names. So I've actually really started to like them as well, and we've picked out like 5 names. Okay, the next question is, what sports do you play or have you played? I played soccer in high school. I actually played it when I was younger, but I think it was like first grade. I only played it because my parents put me in it and kind of wanted me in a team sport, but when I did play it, we were the Blue Dragons, I can remember perfectly, and I was terrified of it. Like, I was so painfully shy when I was a child. Playing sports was like not a good thing for me. I was so shy. So like whenever I was on the field and the ball came to me, like a teammate passed it to me or whatever it was, I would not take the ball because I knew the other team wanted it, and so I would just let them have it. Like I was not going to fight anyone for it. I was not going to confront anyone. I was very non-confrontational, very scared of other people, so it didn't work in elementary school, but then I did actually end up playing it again in high school and I loved it. So I played it for 2 years before I moved to the second school. So I just didn't want to try out because it was such a big school, and I again struggled with being shy and introverted, and I didn't want to put myself out there in front of all these people again, which I regret. Don't be like me. But yeah. The next question is, what is your favorite book? This is a hard question for me to answer. I kind of have stopped reading for enjoyment, which I hate, but I read more for like psychology, self-help, theology, all of that type of stuff, probably for the past 6 years, and not so much for enjoyment. I know that this is probably like the most basic answer, but I'd have to say the Bible is my favorite book. When it comes down to it, it is the most comforting. It's the book of life. It teaches me about myself. It teaches me about the world around me, and it's what I believe. So I guess it just brings me a lot of peace and comfort and wisdom, and I just find a connection in it that is really beyond anything I could read in any other book. Who are some of your favorite YouTubers? My favorite YouTubers would have to be, let's see, who am I following? I really like Kendall Rae for like true crime. I like Raw Beauty Christie. She's probably one of my favorites right now just because she's so real and her channel is so much more about beauty. She really talks about confidence and being confident in yourself, and I can just really relate to her. So she's definitely one of my top favorites. And then I don't know how to say his name. Tom Bilyeu? He is one of the founders of Quest, and he has a segment on his channel called Impact Theory as well as Health Theory, and I just love everything he puts out. He shares so much wisdom and advice, and honestly I feel like me starting this YouTube has to do with him and with the content he puts out, with the guest stars he has on the show, super successful people, and they just really inspire me to pursue my dream, I guess. So, oh, Patricia Bright, she's one of my favorites. I think she's hilarious. I love her clothing hauls. Desi Perkins, of course. She was like the one person who got me into YouTube. And then Katie Lustrelux, whatever. She's one of my favorites. I think she's hilarious. So for skincare, Gothamista and Leah Yu. I'm gonna link all of these channels or post all these names below, but I love them for skincare. I think that they have it all figured out. Their skin's beautiful, they're beautiful. I love their channels. I love Korean beauty because of them. And so yeah, those are two of my favorites. I would highly, highly recommend them. Are you single or taken? I am taken, which is probably pretty clear by my Instagram profile. And also I even mentioned it in my previous video. I am very happily taken and hopefully happily engaged in the near future. If you're watching this, Conrad, see you. How many boyfriends have you had? I have had 3. The first one was for 3.5 years, and I broke that one off. And then the second one was almost right after that, and that was for like 2 months, and that was terrible. And I went then like 4 years without dating, and that is when I met Conrad. And I actually really want to share that story on my YouTube because it embodies me totally. And it took a while for us to get to where we are, I guess. So I think that that would be a funny story to share on YouTube and for you guys to kind of get to know us better in our story. So let me know if you want to see that. How would you describe your fashion sense? Comfortable, plain, basic. I have been wearing athleisure for like the past 6 years of my life, basically, since getting into fitness. So I'm trying to look more put together and I guess more my age, which, how old do you guys think I am? I would be interested to know. What are some of your favorite TV shows? The Office is like #1, hands down, no questions asked. I can always watch The Office. It is always funny. It is always relatable. It is always everything to me. I love dry humor, and so that show, I've watched through it multiple times. I love The Office. Oh my gosh. I just paused my video because my camera overheats so much, and I like literally have tears in my eyes because I was just watching the Katie Hearn, who I followed for forever, her little birth video, and oh my gosh. I am the most emotional person, so that's something about me for sure. Like, so emotional. I can cry at anything. I do cry at anything. I cry all the time. What is your idea of a perfect weekend? A perfect weekend is definitely spent with Conrad. Right now we are on the same weekend and it's amazing. Finally, we're on the same weekend together, and it's just spending time with one another, being productive. I don't enjoy time that I'm unproductive. I get pretty anxious when I am, which I know I need to learn to like settle and just be instead of do. Last weekend he pushed me to edit my video, which I loved that. He always encourages me, and so spending time with him and having kind of his influence on my life is like my perfect weekend. But what's on the top of your bucket list right now? Getting married, Conrad. I can't wait to get married, but other than that, like just pursuing my goals, which a huge one was YouTube, just bettering myself, pursuing what I'm passionate about. I love creating, so like YouTube was a huge thing for me. It gave me a creative platform and I wanted to pursue that for so long, and now here I am. But also creating more art, doing more calligraphy, taking more photos. I love photography as well, even though I really need a new camera. But just creating, bettering myself, pursuing my passions, which is creating an art and doing that long term as a career, getting my foot in the door for that and figuring out where it's going to take me, how I want to kind of ride that wave. And so that's probably at the top of my bucket list, and I am in the process of doing it, so I'm actually very proud of myself. When was the last time you cried? You guys saw it just 2 seconds ago. I cry all the time. Other than that, the other day when I posted my first video and I had so many messages, texts, comments, just I had such an outpouring of love and support that it just tore me apart, like totally humbling. I'm a huge crybaby. If you were another person, would you be a friend of yourself? That's insightful, that's deep. Yes, I think I have a lot to offer in a friendship. Looking back, especially in high school and college, I would say I had good intentions in mind, but I wasn't a good friend. I think it's changed. That was before I was a believer, and so I think that my faith has changed me a lot. I think I'm better in friendships, but I do think I have a lot to offer. I'm a good listener, I think. I think I offer good advice. I really thrive off of helping people and bearing other people's burdens. So I would say yes, I would want a friend like me in that regard. Like, I hope that you guys find a friend in me, and I think I am a lot better than I was. I never would say I'm perfect. I do always have the best intentions in mind. I do care very, very deeply about other people. I think that kind of comes across in my Instagram. So one of the questions is, if you won the lottery, what would you do with the winnings? If I won the lottery, I don't play the lottery, so I don't really know how much the lottery is worth. I know that there's like isn't it like the Mega Millions? So like if it were like 50 million or 14 million or millions in general, the first thing I would do would be buy myself a house, probably for Conrad and I, to raise a family in. Well, actually, I guess the first thing I would do would be get married and have the wedding of my dreams with Conrad. Then I would buy us a house for our future family. I would probably actually have it built exactly how I want it. I think that I would take the money and pay for the rest of my siblings' schooling, probably for my nieces and nephews as well, even though I'm sure that number is going to grow. So but definitely have like a savings. So savings for all of that type of stuff for my own kids, our future family. And I would buy my parents a house for them to live in for the rest of their lives. And I would probably buy it in Colorado so that they lived closer to me and my future family. I would actually really like to donate money to Flint, Michigan. They are in a water crisis. They have been since 2014. And this isn't like a spiel or anything, but I just watched Flint Town, which is a series I think on Netflix. and it is kind of from the perspective of the police department and just how hard of a town Flint is to live in. And I would love to donate like $1 million to the police department so that they could have the resources they need, so that they could have the officers that they need, and I guess like donate also to like the town of Flint for different things like restoration. I would love to help them. And I grew up in Illinois, so it kind of feels like a brother state, I guess. Like I feel a sense of obligation to my Midwesterners in that way, providing them with fresh water. Yeah, I don't know, maybe reconnecting them to like the Lake Michigan water source or something like that, whatever would help them have fresh water again, because it shouldn't be a luxury. It should be something that everyone is given. So I would love to donate to them. And then I would also love to open up a foundation, a nonprofit foundation for victims of sexual abuse, whether it be in their past or for people who are being victimized now to reach out to. I don't really know what that would look like, but it's a huge passion of mine. It touches very close to home for me, and I just want to give them a place to open up, to share their story, to find healing from their past, and to be given kind of a new life. I know ultimately that comes from Christ. I think it's still a huge struggle for people regardless if they believe or not. And so no matter who they are, where they come from, what they believe, a place for them to come to find healing, to have the counseling that they need, somewhere that they could find healing, acceptance, somewhere where they are believed for their story, where they're able to share their truth and to grow from it, honestly. So I think that would be a huge thing for me, and actually something I really want to pursue in the future. I don't even know how I would go about that, but definitely a foundation of some sort that has to do with that. And I feel like I kind of have to mention in this video, because I'm mentioning this, if you are a victim of sexual abuse, please speak up, please share your story. Go to someone who will believe you. I know one of the biggest things is fear of not being believed, especially when this happens within families. Go to your best friend, go to someone you're close with, if that's a parent or if it isn't, an aunt, an uncle, a grandparent, a teacher, someone who will be your advocate, who will believe you, who will let you tell your story. I think just speaking on it brings a certain amount of freedom, and everyone deserves that. You shouldn't be enslaved or in bondage to this secret life and carry the weight of a shame that's not yours to bear. Reach out. It's so important that you do so for your long-term growth and health. So yeah, I think that that's basically what I would do with millions. I should probably actually buy a ticket. I don't even know how to do that, but that'd be awesome. Another question was, where do you find your motivation? And that's a super simple question for me to answer. I find motivation in the people that I love. Everything I do is hopefully to help them, and I think that that came through with my previous answer. My family and my loved ones mean everything to me, so that motivates me every day to try harder, to be more, to fulfill my purpose and use my talents. Conrad, obviously, I consider family, because ultimately he will be my family and our future family. So he is a huge inspiration and motivator to me personally. He pushes me every day. He loves me unconditionally, and he makes me a better person, and he makes me want to pursue being an even better person. I'm sorry if my makeup looks ridiculous. I hope it looks okay in this video, but this purple I kind of took over, and I don't know. I'm gonna list all the makeup that I'm wearing though in the description box below, and if by chance you would want a tutorial of this makeup look, I could definitely do that. Well guys, I think that that is going to wrap it up. I am so hot in this room in front of these lights. I hope that this offered you a little bit of insight. I hope that you've kind of gotten to know me a little bit better, things that you weren't aware of before. Please be my friend. I'm a good friend, I swear, I am. Thank you for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope that you learned something about me that you didn't know. I hope that you connected in some way, and I would love to connect with you guys. So let me know if there are any similarities. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and follow me on Instagram. I'm going to leave my Instagram name below. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.